Hi everyone. Thank you so much for joining this webinar. My name is Winter and I'll be taking you through. And before we even begin, could you please confirm in the chat that you can hear me? Good morning. Morning, Renee. Can you hear me? Awesome. Thank you, Kiran. Then let's get started. My name is Winter Mutheu. I am the Campaigns and Community Manager at Thunderfund. And Thunderfund is an online reward-based crowdfunding platform. So essentially what I do is I help people create and run successful crowdfunding projects. And today we're going to talk about how crowdfunding can be used and is it relevant when you're changing up your business. So let's get started. First, I'll introduce Shifting Gears, which is a learning and coaching bootcamp by SimplyBiz. And what this is, it's a focus on people who want to start a business or who want to change up their business, because we can all agree that in the last few months, a lot has changed in our personal lives, in work, in our businesses, and we've all had to really adapt to, we've all had to make some changes to adapt to the new normal. So with Shifting Gears, it's a focus on people who want to start a new business as a result of these changes that are happening or want to change up their existing businesses. And Changing Gears is a wing of Shifting Gears, where now we focus specifically on existing businesses and how we can use innovation and just some adaptive methods to survive the market right now and even thrive. So the different ways your businesses can change or might be needing to change at this time. And this could be looking like launching a new product to adapt to an emerging customer need. And what we can agree that a lot of our customers' needs have changed, and it's only reasonable to reevaluate your business and look at how you can change things up to meet these new needs. You can also be deciding to target a new market because you might have identified a new gap or a new opportunity presented by the changes that have happened. And you have decided that you have a new target market, you have a new target audience that you want to focus on. You could also be moving online from a physical location, and this will involve a lot of changes in your operations and basically how you run things. And it could also be all of these, but there are also a lot of other changes that could be happening in your business. And now, how does crowdfunding come into all this? The first thing that we'd like to just have down is, what is crowdfunding? And crowdfunding is an online way of raising money for a project through small contributions from many people. So what this would look like is you creating a project on a platform like ours, where you say what you want to do, what you want to accomplish, how much money you want to raise, and how you're going to spend the money. Then you put up a campaign on a crowdfunding platform and have people come to contribute. So let's say you need 50,000 Rand. Instead of seeking this amount from one source or maybe two sources, with crowdfunding, you'd approach, let's say, 100 people and ask them to send you 500 Rand each. And we find that this is a really manageable way of raising funds, and it minimizes the risk even for the people who are giving to your project. And why do people crowdfund? What do people get from crowdfunding? There are two things that people get from crowdfunding. And one is you get to raise funds, and the second one is you get to raise a crowd. The second one is forgotten quite a bit, and people tend to focus on the raising funds. And the reason I bring it up is because if you already have an existing business, that means you already have a crowd. You already have people who know you and they trust your business. They've been working with you for last few years and they trust you. So you already have a crowd, and that means you already have a head start in crowdfunding because you already know who you can turn to, people you're going to share your project with, and they'll be ready to back you because they've done business with you before. So how can crowdfunding help you while you change your business? So now that you have you sat down and you've written where your business currently is, you've written where you want your business to go, and now you're ready to relaunch with a new product or towards a new market, crowdfunding can help you in several ways. It can help you explore a new market by marketing and brand awareness. By sharing your, we said before that crowdfunding is online in nature. So you create your campaign online, and also once you've created it, you share it online. So on Facebook, on Twitter, on WhatsApp, you can text it to your family members or email. So basically you're sharing online, and it's a fantastic way to get the word out about your new business or your new approach to business. And the best thing right now, one of the effects of what is going on globally right now is that everyone is online. So crowdfunding will be an amazing way to market your new approach to your business. It can also help you launch your product in two ways. One, it can help you see how your customers respond to your product, the one that you've decided to launch, and also involve them in the development of this product. So you will get their feedback and they'll be able to communicate with you about whether this product is meeting their needs and maybe what you can improve or any features that you can add. So through crowdfunding, you can launch a new product and get to engage with your customers and get feedback about the product that you're launching. And just a few tips for specifically changing gear for crowdfunding. And the very first is reaching out to your existing customers. We have established that your biggest resource right now is a relationship you have with your existing customers. And you really want to show them that you value them and you want to get their feedback and you want to reach out to them fast. So if you have a mailing list or if you have followers on Facebook or on Twitter or on any social media, just reach out to them. And this should be your first stop when you're crowdfunding for changing your business. Talk to the customers you already have, and they will be more than happy to share your campaign to their friends and their family. Then you also, while you're sharing your crowdfunding campaign, it's very important that you highlight your past success, because this is an edge you already have over someone who's crowdfunding for the first time. So you've already had a business, a successful business, and this is something you want to talk about. You, in your crowdfunding story, you want to bring out your past successes so that new supporters are confident about getting on board. Anyone who's hearing about you for the first time, if they hear that you've had a successful business and now you're just taking a different approach, they'll be a lot more confident to want to support you. Then also with your rewards, because ours is a reward-based platform, and what that means is, for example, if you have a t-shirt business, you would have like your t-shirts as rewards. So you could say as one of your rewards, you have someone give you, let's say 300 Rand in exchange for a t-shirt, 600 Rand or 550 Rand in exchange for 2 t-shirts. So that's how it works. In the case of now, when you're changing gear, have rewards that factor in that give your existing customers special, maybe a special discount to show that you appreciate their support so far. These are people who've come a long way with you. So if you could offer rewards that maybe give them, you say, if you are a customer already, you can get a 20% discount, and this will really inspire them to come and support you and your new venture. And also you can give early bird offers to encourage early adopters, especially if you have a new product. So you can say if your campaign is running for maybe 30 days, you can say people who purchase this item in the first 10 days, they'll get this offer. And the people who purchase in the first 20 days, they'll get this offer. And this will really encourage people to get on board and create that initial momentum that will determine the success of your crowdfunding campaign in the end. So I'm just going to go through a few questions that maybe someone might ask concerning using crowdfunding while changing up their business. So someone would ask, is crowdfunding relevant when you're changing your business? Doesn't this tell the market that you're in trouble? Well, unfortunately, the pandemic it is a global, it's a global phenomenon. So a lot of business are struggling, but also a lot of people are aware, and most of them are happy to help. We have seen over the last maybe 5 months, people really come through for businesses that they believe in, and businesses maybe their family and friends run. And that means you shouldn't be afraid to tell people that you're taking a different angle or you're changing up the approach of your business, because even their needs have changed. And the changing of direction in your business can also be an exciting time for you and your customers. It doesn't have to be seen as this scary transition. It can be a really exciting time for both you and your customers. Excuse me. Then what if my idea doesn't work? Will I have to pay everyone back? No, not really. Crowdfunding is not a loan, so you don't need to repay your backers. All you need to do is to deliver the rewards that they had purchased initially. So once your crowdfunding campaign succeeds, you need to give your backers regular updates and post-campaign. So in case the business does not take off as planned, your backers will be in the loop all along. But when you have had an existing business and you have customers already, we find that people who are founding a second business or who are crowdfunding for the second time, they tend to have a much higher success rate, because you have the experience, you have the tools, and with a little support, you're most likely going to succeed. So a tip for here would be, when setting your goals, just establish the minimum amount that would enable you to deliver the rewards once they have been purchased. If you're wondering how to start your crowdfunding campaign, just get in touch with us and we'll help you set it up. If you email this email or WhatsApp or call that number, you'll talk to Rose, who's my colleague, and she'll help you set up your crowdfunding campaign. Okay, I'll just go ahead and answer your questions now. Please feel free to ask any questions that you may have in the question or in the chat. Renee is asking, if my campaign succeeds, will I need to give up any equity? No, you do not. As I said earlier, ours is a reward-based crowdfunding platform. So the only obligation you have to your backers is the rewards that they purchased from you. And that's the end of your obligation to them. If your campaign succeeds, they can always come back as return customers, but you do not owe them any share of your company. All you owe them is the rewards that they purchased. So how much time should I set aside daily for marketing my campaign? That's a great question. because a lot of people set up their crowdfunding campaigns and then just sit back and expect magic money. I like to call it magic money because nobody knows where it's gonna come from. But crowdfunding only works if you market your campaign, and you have to make a deliberate effort every day to call people and text them and send them emails to tell them about your campaign. So daily, you don't have to spend your whole day marketing, but you can take half an hour in the morning to just share your campaigns and maybe another half an hour in the evening to go through people's feedback. But in the beginning of the campaign, let's say your campaign is 30 days. In the beginning, you might need to do a lot more marketing to get word out, and also towards the end to generate momentum and create excitement and end on a high note. But if you spend 1 hour a day on your campaign, that's good time. It doesn't have to take your whole day. Janet is asking, how long do I have to wait to receive the funds? After your campaign ends, let's say, again, the example of your campaign running for 30 days. If your campaign runs for 30 days, once it's over, we'll take about a week to reconcile any payments that might have been pending or incomplete. Then in about a week, you'll be able to receive the amount that you raised. Can you give some examples of a successful campaign? Sure. We have seen over, maybe I can share a link in the chat, but during this past few months, we have seen people crowdfunding to keep their businesses afloat, and we have seen them share their campaigns online, and they've even created different rewards. Like, for example, if you're giving a certain kind, if your business was selling, let's say, shoes, you see someone coming up with a different product to meet the needs. We've seen, for example, fashion campaigns, fashion companies, they change their approach and start selling, let's say, masks. And people who are producing construction products, they're pivoting and starting to produce safety apparatus for using during COVID. And I can share a few examples in the chat. Thank you, Kiran. Thank you for you saying thank you that you've learned a new concept which can be valuable. Thank you so much for joining, and I'm glad it's an insightful session for you. Let me just grab a link real quick and share with you on the chat. The link I'm gonna share is a link to the Baka Business Movement, where a lot of campaigns managed to raise funds during COVID, and you will see how creative they got with the products that they offered, and how they try to adapt to the new market with new products. I can see Monique has a question. Monique is say a barbershop has been in the same community for 5 years. How do you start a campaign without your clients thinking you're distressed? and that you're about to fold. You can make this an exciting time for them. You can go back to the drawing board and decide to offer new cuts, new what do people offer in barbershops? Do coloring hair. Just put up a list of new products and start targeting maybe a demographic that you had not targeted before. Maybe you were doing haircuts for only men. You can try having haircuts for kids. You can make this an exciting transition. It doesn't have to look like you're closing your business. It can look like, oh, you're getting innovative and you're giving a whole new edge to your business. Any other questions, guys? And like I said earlier, people who crowdfund for a second time or people who run a second business are more likely to succeed statistically than someone who was doing it for the first time. So bearing this in mind, just know that you already have an advantage, you already have an edge in the market. So just approach this very confidently and just think of it as a way to reinvent your business, not to close it or for it to appear like you're in trouble, but just approach it in a very excited and in a very with a new outlook, and it can turn out to be a very great opportunity for your business. What's a realistic amount to raise? A realistic amount to raise would be the amount that you know your people can raise. You know your network, you know your family, you know your friends. How much would each person be comfortable to give? Would they give, if you have a client that buys a certain product every week, if they spent 1,000 Rand in your business every week, you know that that's an amount they'd comfortably give. So you need to look at your network and look at how much they would be comfortable to give, and base your goals around that amount. Because again, when you set a goal that's too high, it can scare people away. They might feel like it's not attainable, and they might hold back on giving because they feel like you won't reach the goal. So the key is to know who you're targeting. If you're targeting college students, you know that they won't be able to give you a 10,000 Rand donation. So just know who you're raising money from, and realistically think about how much they would be able to give. And also, when you're asking people for money and you're backing and you're creating rewards, you also want to ask yourself, would I buy this from me at this price? And if you wouldn't, it's time to reconsider your goal. Any other questions? Yes, you should definitely back yourself. You should definitely back yourself first. Once you launch your campaign, you want to show that you believe in your campaign by putting in an amount, and when you're approaching someone with a campaign that has zero funds raised, they have there are many question marks around your project. So set your goals realistically and back yourself, then approach your closest network, and then now branch out to now the people who are further away from your closest network. Any other questions, guys? Oh, thank you so much for joining the webinar. I hope you've it was insightful and that you've learned something new and that you have a great idea, a good idea of how you can approach changing up your business, and you have a new tool in crowdfunding that you can use to change your business and try to be better, to be a better fit for the current market. Thanks, Monique. Thanks for joining.